All right. I've got a couple hours left. I've been today just plugging in lots of content. I did one tiny little system that I didn't do previously, which is an energy system, but that was much smaller than the other ones. It was not nearly as hard to get that up and running since I already had a side panel thing, and it didn't require like a new kind of entity or anything. It's just a couple of counters that are tracked on different actions. Um, and I think that has added another big dimension to the game that I wanted. And now I'm just plugging in a bunch of content. What I've just wrapped up doing before I went live is built out the entire dungeon sort of layout. So I have enemies turned off right now, and I can walk around. And since there are no enemies, I very quickly find stuff. Uh, and if I look around here, so there's stairs down. So I've got stairs up, two chests on this level, stairs that go down to the fourth level of the dungeon. And here we go. I just found one of the branches. So this is sort of lifted from classic dungeon or classic roguelikes like Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. This idea that you have a dungeon and then there are more branches, and so each branch has like an entry that is connected to one of the sort of the branches form like a tree shape. And so in this case, I found a room uh, with a pool of ice cold water, and you can actually dive in, and it's like an underwater section. Now, I want to gate this particular section, and the branch ordering isn't always the same. So that's a part of the procedural generation is you don't always discover the sea caves on level 3 of the dungeon, right? Sometimes you'll find them on level 4 of the dungeon, and there's two other branches you can find that can move around like that. I don't want you to be able to dive into the water if you don't have an item for water breathing. So I want to invent that item and put it into the game. And by the way, given what time it is now, I have about 2 or 2.5 hours right now to stream. And then I need to cut off the stream and make the final build of the game that I will put on itch to submit for the challenge. I think with enemies turned on, this game is good enough to submit for the challenge. That reminds me, I also need to build out the spawn tables for all the locations. So maybe before I go and do the item that I was just talking about, let's actually go and make sure the spawn table's working. But I've just sort of finished going through and reading the texts for all the transitions and stuff, making sure it reads pretty well and that the system lets you navigate correctly. So all of that is working. So I think the right next thing to do is to fill out those spawn tables so that when I turn enemies back on, I can actually see a populated world. I'm gonna make a little developer tool, a little developer bit here to make the player invincible. And so the way that'll work is when we're doing combat actions. Usually we have combat resolution happen, and sometimes the player takes damage. I'm gonna just say like right here, player invincibility. So if we have player invincibility enabled, then we'll take the player and set their injury count to 0. So whatever the combat resolution did in terms of injuring the player, we'll just get zeroed out, and they'll be fine. Now, let's just go and we're gonna just start plugging. We're plugging in content here. This is kind of the home stretch, so avoiding building new systems, just using the systems that exist to plug in content to make the game feel full of stuff to do. So the last part I did was that I did the spawn tables for the first 2 layers, and there are 3 layers of each branch besides the main dungeon. So there are 3 layers in each. And I just want a copy of, let's grab a copy of this one actually, because that one's more complicated. So the layer index 2, so layer number 3 is case 2 here. what's the spawn table going to be like deep down there? I'm going to say let's drop those and do this maybe. By the way, don't need that. Make sure all these spawn tables are full, like fully correct. There's 40%, 40% here because it's 20, or it's 2 times 2, and 20%, 30%, 2 times 2 to get 40%, and 30%. If the Leviathan spawns, then it's 100% mermaids, no sharks. And then here, I think we'll do 40%, 30%, and 30%. So this can be like that, but we're actually going to need to double everything here. 4 of those. Six of those, and 6 of those, right? So my spawn, this is just a spawn table. It does not control how many things there are, but in order to get the ratios right here, I want 4 of each of these, 3 of each of these, and 6 of these. That gives me 30% sharks, 30% mermaids, with 50 of them being mermaids, and 50 of them, half of them being mermaids and half of them being mermen. And then 40% of these manageable enemies that are so that means 4 of these and 4 of these, 20% of each. Yeah. Okay, so there's my spawn table for the sea caves. Let's fill in a spawn table. What was this? The catacombs. Okay. All right, for the catacombs, we'll include bats on the first level, just because I think that's kind of fun to put, keep including some trivial enemies here and there, especially at the early levels of a branch. But, so we got some bats. We're definitely going to want, so the manageable enemies here, the zombies are not too hard, the skeletons are difficult, and these are the more higher danger ones, so maybe we won't spawn any of these. That's gonna mean we're just doing zombies and skeletons. I think that's fine. So if this is like 40% zombies, %, skeletons, in, we'll drop off 20% from those in order to so that frees up 30%, and we'll do 20%, 30% those maybe. And next layer down, drop the zombies completely, grab 20% off of that, shift it to here, gargoyles, 20% gargoyles. And I need to make sure I'm actually adjusting the spawn numbers on things as I go. So bats, 10%, 20%, 40%, 40%, 30%, 30%, 30%. Zombies. Could just cut out zombies, but you know, like I said, I like to have some amount of the like less dangerous enemies around. So I'm actually gonna shift things here. We'll have, there's 40. Okay, so we have 90% here. And I'll make the gargoyles more common since you don't see them before this point. So this will be the only chance to get to see them. Well, that's actually a problem. I'm going to push the schedule up just a little bit. Drops one off of that one. Zombies. Drop by 1, 2. Let the bats fall off completely. So it's 20%, there's 50%, and 20% gargoyles. Okay. And then this section will just be ghouls and gargoyles, actually. Maybe like 60% and 40%. And, you know, I'll do one other thing. I will actually, I'll bring back a bunch of bats. Even though they're super trivial, it will fit. Because if the vampire, this level only exists if there's a vampire, and the vampire will also spawn here. The vampire is one of the mini bosses, or one of the branch bosses. Okay, so there's our spawn table for that region. And let's do a spawn table for this region. Again, I'll grab a copy of this one to get us started. And one. Now if I remember correctly, none of these are particularly dangerous. The only really dangerous stuff here is the wormlings, which will be yeah, so we're gonna have kind of like I did with the sea caves. I'm actually gonna include a check. So when we go to build the spawn table here, this time we're going to see if the dragon is in the game. So if the world has a dragon, we will get a different spawn table than if it does not. If the world does not have a dragon, then we'll have a few of these, 20%, and take them from there, like that. But if we do have the dragon, we'll say that there's actually a lot more of these. But I think I might do another trick, which is to say that this is going to this is tough. So right now the spawn tables are completely fixed at the beginning of the game. So the system I would like to have is to change the spawn tables based on the state of the world, which I don't have an easy way to do right now. But my idea would be that what we have is like the more wormlings show up corresponds to the dragon is in the game and a certain amount of time has passed, so that it creates a incentive for the player to move faster. If they get to the dragon nest before a certain amount of time has passed, it'll be a less dangerous trek and they'll be able to get the dragon eggs. But if they get there late, then there will be no dragon eggs to find, and there it will be, overrun with these guys. Unfortunately, I have to decide at the very beginning of the game what the spawn table looks like given the systems I have, and I don't have time to build new systems since I'm wrapping up in a couple of hours, so we'll just live with it being fixed like this for now. Having more time controlled stuff is something I'd like to do in the future, or time control stuff either from the beginning of the game or from other events. But we're not there yet. Can't do that today. And then case 2, so if we have a dragon, this layer will exist as well. And what will its spawn table be? Maybe something like a copy of the previous layer. Maybe what I can do is I'll just shift it a little bit in both directions so we get even stronger. There. Okay. So that's all of my spawn tables. Now, if my invulnerability feature for testing is working, I should be able to walk around and see all this cool stuff. All right, just gonna fight my way through anything I find. Eventually, I won't actually be able to kill the things I'm finding. But right now, there's nothing stopping me. A lot of energy, rest to regain energy, fight. Fight. All right, I'll sleep. You can see I've now if I wasn't invulnerable and I was worried about time, I've now spent 47 turns looking around and I haven't found anything yet. There we go. There's a chest. Let's try to... Uh-oh. Okay. Recharge. There we go. We've decreased the population pretty well on that level, so I can start actually making progress finding things. So that's what playing the game will be like, except you'll actually have... maybe when I'm doing this invulnerable thing, I'll actually turn energy costs off as well. But when you're actually playing, you'll have good reason to watch out for your health in some of those interactions too. Although on the first dungeon level, nothing is too dangerous yet. Maybe that's a mistake, but that's the way I've organized it. Let's say that if I have player invincible, then let's see, combat energy cost. Yeah, same as player injury count. If a player is invincible, we'll set the temp, fatigue, and the permanent fatigue all to 0 all the time, so you never pick up any fatigue. Leave the chest, fight the bat. Wait for it to... Okay, it runs away. Fight the bat. Fight the bat. Fight the bat. Descend. There we go. There's one level of the dungeon. Okay, I've never actually encountered these characters before. I don't know how tough they are to beat because I haven't played the game for real yet. That'll be my last thing, but I want to just go through and see everything there and working. Ah, so I would have taken damage there, and he runs away. Okay. I would have taken damage there. And he runs away. And he runs away. So the reason they're running away might be because they're running out of energy to fight. But yeah, if you keep going, you start being able to kill them, so that's good. Guards against you. Better footing. And he runs away. All right. And there we go. He runs away. So a lot of these guys just run away too quick. And I think it's because they run out of energy, and the bot is set up to run away when they're out of energy. We must have tied. Better footing. Okay, I'm not going to be able to catch up with him. Okay. So many things to fight, and I'm not finding anything. So maybe my population levels in the dungeon are too high. all I know about is how to get back up out of the dungeon, and I keep running into fights rather than finding things while I explore. There also aren't that many things to explore right now, and I have now built in the full complement of everything to find. There we go. I found stairs going down again. But I kind of just want to get through all the dungeons for a minute. So maybe instead of having to deal with that, what I will do... There is one trick I can already do, which is let's put on the low population rule. That will not mean that I get no spawns, but it will let me get through things quicker. Okay, so there I got through the whole first level and nothing spawned. Things will spawn more often. Yeah, here we go. On my way to the stairs, something spawned. All right, stairs down, descend, explore, found a rat. He ran away. So I can get deeper that way. Explore, arc fighter. Gain better footing. Strike. Fight. Ah, he would have hit me. Alright, I'll let him get away. On the lock chest, open it with a key. You don't actually get anything because I have to still go back and plug in more items. That's the last big thing we'll be doing. If I succeed at checking everything and I don't find any reasons to get hung up, I need to go and add a good amount of items to the game. Okay, so there's stairs going down. There's more in this area. Here we go. So if I go in here, these are the Halls of Madness, and this character doesn't know anything about how to get through the Halls of Madness right now, so I don't get anything for exploring that area. Ah, here's another discovery. A room that I can enter into the water area. Just player automatically has water breathing for now. We explore and we encounter a jellyfish. Now the jellyfish might not be too dangerous. Yeah. Okay. A merman is more interesting. Swims away from you. That's fine. Fish. Goof. Fish is gonna get in the way. Guard. Try to guard it. He would have killed me. He swims away. Fight. How did I get fatigued? Oh, it must have triggered from exploration instead of from a combat. We didn't sleep to take it back. Go into the sea caves. Swim up. Water surface, get out. Okay, so there's the water. That all looks like it's working. So we won't find anything else here. If we go to the stairs going down, we can go down to the 4th level of the dungeon, start exploring. Ah, here we found this right away. That's how handy. I want to stay because there might be other... there might be other opportunities here. There might be opportunities here to see enemies I haven't seen before. Nope, it won't let me see anything here. Stairs going down. Descend. There we go. Found a troll. Very cool. So it took a little bit, but I was able to actually kill it without any cheating. I mean, my energy was probably cheated, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to give the player a few more pips of energy to begin the game, and all of the enemies as well, because they seem to run out of energy faster than I would like. Here we can go into the caves. If we want to look around here. Nice. Fight. Nice. Crawl in deeper. Into another burning cave. Let's climb out. I'm actually gonna go fix that. Fire caves. Another burning cave. Tunnel opening. Red slime is gonna fight me. Nice. Okay, now let me out. There we go. If I explore around here for a little while, oh, there's an ogre. Need to get okay. There's a bear. Alright, I want to change some stuff about how certain characters can behave, but I don't want to do that first because I want to get to items. So I've seen most everything. Let's go upstairs, gate of the catacombs, let's go in there. Zombie, not too tough. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you gotta be able to get tougher to take out most of these things, which I haven't given you an ability to do yet. we can descend farther, in fact. Cool. Okay, I've seen enough. Everything seems to work in terms of, like, the things that are supposed to be there are there. About the right number of them are there. All of that. And by the right number, I mean the right proportions. Now what I want to do is add in more items. So when we go to generate the world right now, we add locked chest keys and potions to the original dungeon here and there, and you can find those, although we don't find that many potions. We're not finding that many potions. So I might have been a little too strict on potion numbers, perhaps. And we can actually generate just one new kind of item quite easily by saying we're going to have more than one type of potion. So we have a healing potion. Let's also have a stamina potion and give that temp, fatigue, and permanent fatigue both get zeroed out, maybe. Healing potion, stamina potion. Healing with stamina. Healing with stamina. There we go. And now why don't we say when we're generating potions, let's up the generosity even a step further. I'll do that by saying that the potential starts higher and that it increments by 1 every level instead of by 1/2. Oops, not that one. That's the key generator. By 1 every level instead of 1/2. And then we'll roll to determine which type of potion separately. So we can go like that maybe. And let's just keep adding stuff that will be good to make the player more likely to survive. So another thing I want to add that I was just mentioning, or change, is that the max stamina on some stuff is too low. Here, I think the player, I'm gonna have them start with a stamina of 10 instead of 5. Which will mean I want to adjust fatigue time. I'll have fatigue time drop down to 10 and sleep time drop down to 5. So you'll have fatigue cutting into your stamina more quickly by almost twice as fast, but you also have twice as much stamina, which means you can get more done in a day before you get tired enough that you have to sleep. Now for the rest of these, let's just say Yeah, these guys here can have more stamina. He can have more stamina. He doesn't need any. He's fine. These guys can all have a 10 instead of a 5, so they won't run away all the time. And yeah, all of these guys didn't have the problem of running away all the time. All right. So I think that'll be nice. Now, new item ideas. So things that the player could really use include the ability to hit much harder. And so for something like that, since I can only do one of two types of items, I can do a consumable, which is it's there and you click it to activate it and use it up, and just sort of like a permanent. If you have it, you get a benefit for having it passive while it's in your inventory. Possibly, the more you have, the better. So, I can't do very easily things like temporary buffs or anything because I don't have anything like that in the engine. So these can kind of be like, as you pick things up, they make you stronger kinds of things. Like instead of leveling up, you are picking up things that make you tougher. I think yeah, I think I will start us off with, how about like a magic wand? All right. A magic wand. And each magic wand will be a one-time use, but you'll pick them up and they'll have a few uses and they'll blast for harder than your basic hit. So you can use them to get through some stuff. Stamina potion, magic wand, call these attack with abilities, and they will just be available in combat. So let's see, where did I have throw potions? These are going to be renamed to attack with. Magic wand, stamina potion, holy water, magic wands. Okay, very good. I haven't actually implemented anything that you can attack with as an item yet, so let's go and do that. So a magic wand is an item you can attack with, and so the question is, what does that do payload kind game action. Attack with game action combat. I'm going to have to modify that function just a little bit to take a bonus let's say fight bonus and run bonus might be two different parameters we want to pass into that. We're just hacking things together here in our final stretch to plug stuff in. So usually you get normal fight commands and stuff, no bonus. If you are attacking with an item, you might get a bonus. So we'll go here. Player, we might also want to grab the enemy. Combat entity, item. So if our item is a holy water, then let's see, fight bonus equals 0, run bonus equals 0, and what is this? QU game action. Well, we're gonna fight, right? These are attacks, not guards or something else. So these are gonna be combat fight with a fight bonus and a run bonus. So holy water will just have if the enemy kind is undead. So let's look really quick. We don't have a system of like tagging our entity types or anything like that. We just gotta look at our list and grab the ones that should count as undead. That one and a vampire. If you hit any of them with the holy water, then you have a fight bonus. Otherwise, it's wasted. And it'll be like a significant fight bonus, right? No run bonus. Now, if you hit them with a magic wand, we'll give you a fight bonus of 6, so that's a good amount, but not a crazy amount. We'll also give it a run bonus. So if someone's running away and you're flicking a magic bolt at them, it's like a, you know, it's like a fast projectile. Throwing a bottle of water, easier to evade, but like we're talking high-speed projectile. So you get a run bonus to go with it too. All right, harder to evade that. And then the issue is we've modified that, but we have not modified the one that goes with it. So here, when we find ourselves calculating scores, these are fight scores, so score 0 is going to be plus equals a fight bonus. This here is a run score, so we're going to have the same thing, but we're adding the run bonus. And sometimes after you calculate a run competition, you still have a fight score. So now fight score here will be plus the fight bonus. Okay. So that's all cool, except we have one problem. I haven't spawned anything out of these things. So let's have one that's like fight item amounts, and we'll have a few of those available like we do with the potions. And potion with fight item. And so we'll have a holy water and a magic wand. Actually, I might just say magic wand, and we'll say that having a holy water is like maybe a 1 in 3 chance if the dungeon level is greater than or equal to 2. So like on the first 2 floors of the dungeon, you won't find any holy water. We'll actually put it like this, right? So you got to get in to levels 4 and 5, and you might find those. But otherwise, you won't find them. And you won't find them very often either way. Okay, so that's a few things. Let's test out that much. Let's see if we start exploring, if we actually find anything. That's what it looks like now that I have 10 energy to begin with. Fight the bat quickly. Guard against the hound until it tries to fight me or runs away, and then I can... Okay. Spending too much time doing nothing. Let's look at the bot that controls his thinking. Yeah, that's too annoying. Let's say that it happens with a 2 out of 5 probability, maybe? Could just be a 1 out of 2 probability. This is the thing that, the probability that it becomes aggressive. If it doesn't become aggressive, then if you try to take it out, then it will run away. But if it gets aggressive, then it'll stay and fight, and then you have a chance to take it out if that's what you want to do. Explore quickly. Rat out. Found a stamina potion. Okay, that's great. Because we just saw an item bug, which we haven't seen before. Side string. And we are dropping down names for the inventory item. I want to make sure to add in a no wrap. And it also confirms that we can, in fact, find the items that we added. Okay. Healing potion. All right. Let's explore. Leave the chest for now. Explore. There's another healing potion. Explore. Uh-oh. Why would it be doing this? This is new. It didn't have this issue before. So it might be one of the things we've just enabled as like new spawnable stuff. Are there any? I mean, nothing, none of it's missing. Nothing here is missing. All right, so to figure that out, I'm gonna have to play for a bit with the debugger up, see if that will help me understand what that is. Might be a bit tricky to recreate. What's sort of, it might be a bit tricky to recreate it reliably, but we can try. So I found a stamina potion twice. Last time I found a healing potion twice. Leave the stairs, fight the rat. Fight the rat. Leave the chest. Fight the snake. Fight the rat. Alright, I've looked at everything. I can go down. No repetitions of that issue. That's scary because if I can't recreate it, that could happen at any time. It's an issue with the engine for sure. I don't have time to reconstruct the engine to eliminate that kind of issue. Also, I'm annoyingly finding no cases of keys or let the sorcerer get away. There we go. We found one. Okay, why don't you tell me now, game, a little bit about what state you got into. Maybe we can figure out how it's possible for a frame like that to happen. So we're in the discover entity state, and the entity that we're interacting with is a magic wand. So it is one of the new items, and maybe this is why we weren't seeing any of them. Whenever we were seeing one of the new items, we were bailing out because it wasn't working. Region title, that much was working. First encounter property is null. I know what this is. This is one of those annoying things. So healing potion, stamina potion, holy water, magic wand. Okay. Anytime I make an item type, it has to go into this list. Or that happens. It's not a good design, but it is how my system was working. So can I locate a magic wand? Magic wand, there we go. Find a snake. Now I want to... There's two magic wands. Excellent. Fight the bat. Descend the stairs. Orc scavenger. Magic wands. You strike the scavenger. Guard. Hit him again with this. Alright, cool. So the wands work as a way to deal out damage. Of course, I've just used it on one of the relatively less difficult enemies that I could encounter. But it does what it's supposed to do. Oh, there's a stamina potion. Cool. We won't really be able to test how that feels or if it does what it's supposed to do because we are not... we're not in a situation where we even like have normal fatigue behavior working. We turned that off intentionally so we could explore more easily. Cool. So I think something I want to do is when you find fight items, I'm gonna roll the stack so that the number you find isn't necessarily 1. And let's say like you find like 1, 2, or 3 of them. Or even better, I could do something like this. So you could max out at finding 5. You could find 1. Very often you'll find about 3 with a setup like this. Right. Triangle distribution, yeah, kind of like a pair of dice kind of deal. Hey, Brett. Yeah, I am putting in a stream for the last couple hours of polishing up before I set this thing out to see if anyone thinks it's playable yet. It might not be. I kind of feel like it shows some cool ideas, but I kind of also think it clearly shows... It clearly does not... It doesn't feel like an obviously like fun game on its own right now, but that is fine. I can at least gather information about how people feel about the idea, you know? But I can also see what I can do in these last couple hours to polish it up before I'm out of time. Actually, I've already spent one of my hours. I've got about 1 hour left, maybe an hour and a half. I want to, around 9:30, be making the itch page and putting the content in and uploading the file so that by 10 I can submit, which is the deadline that I need to submit by to comply with the rules of the 7DRL challenge. Because I started this on Monday publicly, but I did do like a little bit of work on Sunday night. So I feel like if I go too late on Sunday night, I won't be really being fair. But all I really did on the Sunday night before I started streaming this was set up to like pick a font, and I picked a font and wrote the original, the first screen of the game. I wrote this. It wasn't even interactive yet. We did that on the stream on the Monday. So I didn't do that much on Sunday, but I can't go all night. All right. So next up, maybe I'm feeling like give the player a little bit more of a few more of these fight entities. Maybe when they roll a potion, drop in like a little more chance to get a couple. So 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, right? So this could add up to, well, rolling 1 isn't interesting. This can be up to 3. This can be up to 9. I might say it can be up to 7 in a single pickup. So that'll give you some ways to deal with some enemies, but I need some more. So let me think about it this way for a few minutes. The game has all these enemies over here. I have a counter for the vampire. Right, so some of these, the Wraith needs a counter, the Dragon needs a counter, the Leviathan needs a counter. But those are bosses. Let's see about, which I haven't even added. So let's focus on the ones I have added. These guys, you can just hit them with wands. These, you can hit them with wands. This, I would like to, if I had time, I'd like to code a sort of behavior for certain things, and the bear is one of them. That need special behavior. These need special behavior, and they're unique. They're not spawned in yet, so ignore those. Those have a counter in the holy water. So here we go. These fire salamander things, they anything in this camp, I want it to be vulnerable to something, not water necessarily, something more like ice, or this and this are both cold-blooded. The dragon, so this would be the same thing that you use to counter the dragon. So I think like maybe what we could do is make something that counters all cold-blooded creatures as a thing, all reptile creatures. Here we go. That'll be fun. That'll be nice and easy. Fits in with all the constraints I have, which is it needs to be consumable. And it needs to automatically counter cold-blooded. So that's good. So let's see. Right now we're saying on level 1 and 2, all you can find are magic wands. And then there's a 50% chance. Okay. I'm going to change the way this works by saying if this is less than this and this is equal to this, re-roll equals 1. And we'll just be trying to figure out what item key we want. And we'll go item key, or key equals the item key. Have a little spawn table here and create probabilities that way. So holy water, magic wand, ice start, magic wand twice, holy water twice. Ice start's a little more rare, but the holy water won't be allowed on early levels, and so it'll have a reroll. And so what we'll say is reroll equals 0 if reroll go to roll item fight item QU game key item key. So there we go. After this finishes successfully, it will mean, oh, we need to actually reroll, apply reroll item key app roll index, array count, item spawn table, item spawn table. There we go. So roll an index for this table, and then use that to make the item key. Check if the item key is valid according to some rules, and re-roll if it's invalid. Okay, so we should be able to find some ice darts some of the time to help counter the tougher cold-blooded creatures. And so let's go and apply all the things we have to do to make that work. Item use matrix, magic wand, ice dart, state combo. Yep. Okay. Attack with, and similar to the holy water, we'll take the ice dart. And now let's look at which of our creatures are cold-blooded. The snake is cold-blooded. The salamander is cold-blooded. The wormling is cold-blooded. The dragon is cold-blooded. Okay. And then that gets consumed. Okay, the vampire isn't in the list. Let's say that the fight bonus is otherwise low, and it also goes to 0 against undead. No bonus there. Some fight bonus against anything. Major fight bonus against cold-blooded though, so that's cool. So we've countered some things here. What are some other things that would be good to add counters for? So helps you fight the dragon. So I want to go back. There are a couple of ideas I have for special other types of item use opportunities. The Wraith is sort of an undead creature too, but it's non-corporeal. The only way I want you to be able to catch the Wraith, if I were to add it, would be through a special item. I'm going to focus on things I've actually added to the game. Again, I'm building out my content in the order that makes sense, because if I add things that you'll never reach, because if the game is unplayable in the first 50% and there's no way to get to the second 50%, then adding content to the second 50% in the last hour doesn't make sense. So let's keep focusing on, maybe we could do, let's do locked boxes and secrets. Also, I'm still kind of surprised that I never find keys anymore. Maybe I want to double check real quick that code isn't doing something that screws over the keys. Entities, and it's not. I don't see any sign at all. Just make that 0 or 1 or 2, not 1, 2, or 3 potions. Magic wand, ice dart, holy water. Yeah, we'll get back to that. I want when I spawn a chest, let's give the chest the ability to hold a couple of items. That'll work like this. Okay. And then when we're spawning a chest, we will do it like this. And just like before, we have one of these. Now the kinds of things that can go in here will include healing potions, stamina potions, holy water, magic wands, ice darts, keys. 6. Cool. I'll have it preferentially generate more things other than keys a little bit, and choose n from array. So spawn table, array count, item spawn table, grab me 3 things and put them all here. And now when you open a chest, if you open any locked box, you can finally implement get items from the box, because we've got an item system now. Let's go iterate content and items key. Pick up game key. Just go bing, 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 like that. So we do need a different way to do item pickups than what we had before, because we didn't use an actual entity system to put entities into the chest. Instead, we just said what kind of entity would spawn, whereas the first way to pick up entities was to pick them up off of, to use it to pick up an existing entity. So it's a little different. Find matching slot in inventory is the same. If no match, allocate a slot in the inventory. Just copy pasting because I don't have time to think about a better design. And then increment the slots stack counter. This time, just increment by 1 on the match. But yeah, there we go. Basically the same thing both times. Very close to the same. I could do this. Right? And then this. And then this. And there we go, except now this got refactored just for a sec. Not that one. That one. Pick up game key 1. But there's another thing we want to do here, which is if we do break items, then QU game key equals thing we were gonna give the player. If they forced the lock open, then all of the fragile items will get transformed like so. Right, all of these guys. So wands will be fine, ice darts will be fine. Healing potions, stamina potions, holy water will turn into broken glass. That'll just be another type of item you can get. Item use matrix. Broken glass. Attack with. Okay. And let's see, there's some other things we have to do whenever we make an item. Let's track all those things down. Broken glass. And let's see. So you can use broken glass. And you get a little tiny baby lame bonus, right? You get like lame bonus. Okay. It's the booby prize, because you broke the potions. Maybe I'll come up with a fun, good way to use them, but it's not necessary because it's not the point. Right. Just pretend they are U32s for me. Pretend those are U32s too. Then, like, come on, man. You're overthinking it. Okay. That's the key. And yeah, key. So if you force the lock open, you get this. Otherwise, you get whatever was in the chest when we generated it. So let's go and check that out. Can I explore the dungeons? I found an ice dart right away, so I got 5 ice darts. It's a little rare, but that would help me in the ice caves. Let's wait for it to attack and then take that out. Chest. All right, I'm gonna force it open. And I got, ooh, that must be broken glass, because I must have forgotten to add, yep, look at this. I forgot to add broken glass, broken glass, broken glass. Okay, let's see again if I can go and find a chest and bust it open. And it's not guaranteed to contain a potion when I find it, but it's got a pretty high chance to have a potion. So there we go. Where did the broken glass come from? There must have been a potion there, but I'll never know now because I forced it open. And so I don't get the potions. I get broken glass. Okay, so that's cool and fun. I've got a few things from a chest now, which is nice. I don't find a lot of keys these days, and that's been bugging me. Did I bust the key? Oh, there's a key, right? So if I just kept looking around, I would have found a key. This is also great because I'm finding stuff just as often as I'm fighting stuff, which means I'm starting to actually put enough stuff into at least the early part of the dungeon to make it interesting. I want to maybe add in some special items that we can find when I explore thoroughly, because now I have this thing where I've got stuff inside the chests, but if I look for secrets, I don't find anything. And so there's a couple things I could do with secrets. I could add just, you pick up more potions and consumable weapon items. I could also have like more interesting things. We could, why don't we, now that I think we've made enough progress, let's start by just filling in, let's do 2 steps here. Let's start by just putting in some generic fillers. When you find a secret, that the secret can be like another item, or any of the basic items. Same sort of thing you might find in a chest, but you get one of them for searching for secrets. And then that way we've covered, we won't run into this message while we're playing. We will have covered, blanketed out the secret system with something. And then if we come up with unique things, we can start adding those in. And the first unique thing I want is like a pearl of water breathing that you can find somewhere in the dungeon that gives you the ability to go underwater, and then we can control whether you can enter the underwater section by actually forcing you to find that, right? But let's do that in 2 steps. Step 1, the secret system. Right now, whenever I generate secrets, entities, secrets, I'm going to have just a helper generator function here that's going to be like QU generate fill secrets, so that this can look like this for, oops, not for n, not the node loop, for each of the secrets in key if secrets is null. So this is like a blanket filler. What we'll do is, if we have unique stuff, we'll put those unique things in first and then run this to fill out all the rest, right? And we'll have the spawn table be a parameter, means we just do this. We go create an entity. And stick that entity into this spot. Okay. That entity is just a one-off. You get a cool thing kind of thing. And then we can go find all the secrets. Fill secret filler. So let's make the spawn table for that. It's the same one we did for the chests a minute ago. Oh, I'm in the wrong section here. I want to be working on the dungeon level section. Fire caves, catacombs, subterranean sea, dungeons. So, up to 3 keys, up to 2 fights, and secrets. Secret filler. Special random items. Here's the item spawn table that we did for chests. I'm going to do this. Just bring it up here and make this a global. QU common item spawn table. And then item spawn table right here can go like this. And then the secret filler is just QU generate fill secrets, frame or world arena, entities secrets, secrets n, common spawn table, and the count of the common spawn table. And then we can put unique secrets in as well. But there we go. So there are some secrets to find. So if I do this, I fight, I do this, I leave, I do this, I found a stamina potion, I do this, I fight, I do this, I find a key, I do this, I fight, I do this, I leave, I do this. Okay, so that's what I thought. So what I did was fill in the entities, but I don't think that just filling the entities is everything, because since I've never implemented secrets before, there's no guarantee that it's actually using the secrets entity to do anything yet. So it's more like it knows that we want to look at the secret explorer function, because that's what gives you your reward here. And yeah, this is it's just like an empty stub of a function that never got any love. So let's see, the regular explorer. Ah, yes, it has this whole logic in it. Well, we're going to do it like this. If secret, else regular, this function is going to die. This is going to live here. This is going to live here with secrets counter and secrets max and secrets counter entities. Is it secrets explorer or is it entities secrets? Entity secrets counter goes up by 1. Either way, whether you find it through a regular exploration or a secrets exploration, we still want the rest of this code path to be the same. So this is explore increment secret. I don't love having Boolean parameters, but that'll have to do. So now when I try to build, it's going to give me those 2 places where they got called before as the big problem. Explore increment, no secrets. Explore increment, yes secrets. Okay. Excellent. So now if I hop into the dungeon and I start exploring thoroughly, I likely won't even know when I've found a secret. So that was probably not a secret because I got 4 of them. Oh, snake. Fight him. Fight him. Fight him. Okay. Explore thoroughly. Wait. Fight him. Fight him. Explore. So that was one magic wand, so that was probably a secret. Not necessarily, but it probably was. Fight him. Leave for now, because I want to get a key. Fight him. Explore thoroughly. Fight him. Fight him. Wait. Fight him. Another batch of magic wands. A lot of magic wands. I guess it's because it's the more common one at the top of the dungeon. 2/3 of the time it'll spawn magic wands. 1/3 of the time it'll spawn ice darts. It's not till later it gets the ability to even spawn the holy water. Fight the rat. Found a key. Leave. Healing potion. One healing potion. Might have been a secret. And I've looked over everywhere. I can sleep, go to the stairs, descend. Oh, wait, let's actually go back up and go over to the chest. So we can activate a key. And from the key, we got some stuff. Or from the chest, we got some stuff. Which is cool, 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 cool. Go back down. And we're looking pretty good. So we've added in the secrets blankets for dungeon level, the basic dungeon levels. But let me go and add in the same thing for all the other sections for now. I might want to have different spawn tables for the blankets. You know, like it might not make sense for holy water to appear in the catacombs, for ice darts to appear in the fire caves. There might be unique items that are just part of the common spawn table of each area. But for now, it's just same common items for the whole game everywhere. Okay, so there we filled in the secrets with blankets, but let's think now about what's the most valuable thing. I think having some items for unique purposes, like a single item of water breathing that can regularly be found in the same location or in the same general area. I mean, so like, you know, the water breathing pearl will be on dungeon level 4 or 5. So you have to explore the secrets in those areas in order to go to the underwater section. Stuff like that. Let's start with up here we have these things. Let's add in our special item there. We have to do a few things whenever we make items, and this is one of those times. So pearl of water breath needs to appear there. Pearl of water breath needs to appear there. And there. Hopefully that's good. And of course here. And here. And then, this is not a consumable item, so it won't go in the item use matrix because you don't consume it or even click it to activate it. Instead, what will happen is let's go over to the sea caves. Verbs, water surface. There we go. And you can see right here, water breathing check. Has item, QU item in inventory. That's what I want. If QU item in inventory, QU game key, pearl of water breathing, then you can dive in. But otherwise, we'll just leave a message that, well, do I even want a message? Here we're doing the verbs. You can I'll leave a message. It might be a little bit out of place, but it's better to inform the player of a game mechanic in a unsophisticated way than to leave them totally confused. Okay. So I'm going to pop in over here. I'm going to disable enemy spawning completely so that I can get there and see the new message as quickly as possible. Descend. Descend. Here we go. Okay, pretty close. I did forget to make sure the end of paragraph was always there. Okay, so there we go. That should be good. You can dive into the water if you have the Pearl of Water Breath. Otherwise, you won't be able to breathe long enough to explore this water. Now, let's go and upgrade the world generator a little bit. So while we're going, the world generator puts certain things in certain places. We can just put another one of these. We can do special item, secret item placements, and our first one will be Pearl of Water Breathing, Water Breath. That's going to be in either level index 3 or 4, right? So that'll give us a 0 or a 1. It'll either be index 3 or index 4, which is the 4th or 5th level. And now, when we're down here doing the secrets, if the level we're on is equal to Pearl of Water Breath level, I don't think I had that up. Yeah, level, unique secrets, then I'm going to QU generate a unique secret. I'm going to give it the secret space and the game key for the unique secret, which is Pearl of Water Breath. And add single secret. Add secret. There we go. So this could be written like that. Add secret. That's going to need the arena and the space to fill, and then the key. Okay. arena get scratch. Arena release scratch. 32 options equals push an array onto the scratch. With that one for each of those, we then look across all of these, and all the ones where the secret slot is still 0, we write option putter equals I, option putter plus equals 1, option putter equals options, and then option count. So we want to know how many options we have, which is just going to be the option putter minus the base of the options array. Determine available options, and then insert the secret entity. Well, before we do that, choose spot for secret entity. So to choose a spot, what we're going to do is go if option count is greater than 0, first of all, then the index where we're going to put this thing is just the options index, app role index, the number of options. So we look up into there. This gives us an index 0 to the number of options. We take that index and look it up into the options array, which tells us the index into the secrets array. And then we go, all right, the secrets at that index becomes this entity, and that entity gets constructed by saying push an entity onto the arena and set its key like so, and there we are. Cool. So, in theory, somewhere at the 4th or 5th level, I should find a secret. Stairs going down, descent. There we go. Thoroughly. Oh, there it is. I found it. Pearl of water breath. Pretty neat. Okay, I'm gonna go up and ascend and look around here. There might be, here it is, the area where we can dive, and now it will let me dive. It doesn't say I can't breathe. So the Pearl of Water Breath does indeed open the sea caves. All right, very cool, that's fun. Is it going to be possible to get that far when I've turned on player vulnerability and enemies? I have no idea. There might be enough items now that you can just trounce this game too. I have no idea what the balance of this is going to be like. We are now 2 hours into this stream. I have, well, an hour and 50 minutes. I have about 30 more minutes. So I think I can do 2 more fun things. And then I have to call it a day. I haven't added the bosses yet. So the game is supposed to be about, you're this beast slayer, you're drawn to the dungeons to fight the bosses, and I just haven't had enough stuff to justify working on the bosses, because to beat the bosses, you would need to be able to gain some power, which meant I needed to give you a way to find stuff by exploring and finding items, which we've only just had time to start implementing some items. We don't even have enough items in the game to counter all the bosses. So I guess my question is, do I have time to introduce the idea of a unique entity? Yes, I know how I would do that. That would not be hard. Do I have time to make sure you can beat them all? Not necessarily. Do I have time... Do I have time to give the counters for this guy and this guy? So this is basically This one would be basically impossible to do the way I originally envisioned in time for the jam, because he's supposed to interact with the whole sleeping and resting and fatigue mechanic, and also not be locked to any particular dungeon area, which is a unique feature of this boss. And I don't have that. And this one, I don't even have a story idea yet of what the counter was going to be. I was kind of thinking about, like, you need like a system where if you fight sea creatures on land, they are at a disadvantage, but if you fight in the water, you're at a disadvantage. I haven't had time to build anything like an advantages and disadvantages according to world context. And so if that was going to be the counter, that you had to find a way to move the Leviathan onto land or to drain the sea caves, that there's just not any chance that that's going to happen. I could put them in there and just say, like, hey, this game's actually impossible. Like, there are very likely always going to be at least one, maybe two bosses in your run that I haven't had a chance to implement the way to beat them, or the way to even find them. In the case of the Wraith, since it doesn't attach to a location, but the Vampire and the Dragon, the Leviathan can be added to the game, and the Vampire and Dragon might even be things you can beat. And if I have unique entities, I could also go and add the Leprechaun, Unicorn, Fairy, which would also be unique entities that also help you to power up, give you a chance at beating things that are tough like those guys via other means. So maybe unique entities, that might be the fun thing to do last. Maybe. You know, I'm kind of feeling like, yeah, let's do that, because the one reason I like that is when you do this part, it tells you that these bosses are things you have come to the dungeon for. If I've built all of this and you can't even find the bosses, then I would feel like I should have just I could just rewrite this for the jam. So here's what I'm kind of thinking. Let me give you a thought process. I'm not 100% in this for the 7-day roguelike, right? I feel like the timing was very convenient, but I'm really doing this all month. And pushing this thing to be as good as it can be for the cutoff today kind of just feels like it's stressing me out right now, and I don't like it. And I'm kind of thinking it might be better for the vibe of the project in the long run. Like, if I want to keep enjoying this next week, it might be good to, like, pull the reins in a little bit and say I didn't go that hard. I just kind of settled at a nice, happy spot. I got items in there. I put a unique secret in there. I've got a lot of the system for world generation kind of sketched out, entities sketched out, combat stuff that isn't figured out yet and stuff. So at the level of thinking about what systems are working and which ones are working well and poorly, I've done a good job. I rushed a little bit on some stuff to fill in content to make this something you might explore and get a feel for how it works. But I didn't try to make the most impressive entry to the competition, because that was never my point. And the more I push, the more difficult, the more of this I'm going to have to undo. Like tomorrow in the code. So I'm thinking, even though there's time and there's a bunch of rough edges, I probably just submit what I've got right now, exactly as it is, and say, hey, I did this for as long as it was fun, and then I decided to tap out early to keep it fun. All right, I think I'm going to go with that plan. I'm going to make one other crazy change. So I was thinking, you'll notice this is the only one you can click on. I was thinking that I would scope this game down to make it better for the challenge. But even scoping it down, I haven't made a complete game. So as long as it's an incomplete, I might as well let you play from all three perspectives, right? That's what I'm thinking. For a final thing to do, just to put this in the state to ship it, there's the enemy spawn, all of the default config stuff is back. And let's go into the intro of the game, and let's say, you know what, I didn't even manage to complete the like rough sketch of one character's story. So why am I restricting you to one character? Play whatever you want. You can be the archaeologist. You won't find the bosses. You won't find the magic items. Those didn't get in time. So it doesn't matter who you play. You're going to read about stuff that isn't there. But you can go in and start exploring. Learn how to deal with some of the creatures. Find some potions and stuff. Think about the energy system. Got a key. If we keep exploring here. Keys. Why did my energy go up when I used the wand? Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. That was just a full-on mistake. Okay, I did think of another way to have fun. I am gonna submit this in a perfectly incomplete state. But I want to give you a tool that'll let you catch the fish if you go into the water. And that'll be on dungeon levels 0 or 1. Okay, what about this though? No, there are, there we go. Fishing net. Fishing net. So this is different from other things in the game. It's a unique item. It will have item use matrix. It will appear in the item use matrix as a combat item. Fishing net. And it will not be consumable. It will give you a fight bonus of 100 and a run bonus of 100 if the enemy is a fish. So you should be able to find a fishing net hidden in there. Temp writing file. I had a couple other fun little ideas. I'm going to take this one and add it in real quick. This is like these. Catacombs. Where are catacombs generated? On the first level of the catacombs, we will add Elbereth Cove. Elbereth Cove is going to be like the locked box stuff, so we have to do some of these. These things which I'm adding now, after having said I don't want to rush stuff in, are things which are not at all difficult. They don't require a change in the engine and have very low chance of becoming a bug, and they're just stuff I've been so excited about the idea to add them. So I'm going to do these. This one is a reference to NetHack. And the verbs will be cove verbs. Locked box verbs. Cove verbs. Exploration. Yep, so that's one option. You can sleep. To recover from fatigue. And what's cool about that is not cave. What's cool about that is in NetHack, Elbereth is this strange mechanic where you use to protect yourself from monsters in some situations. It's some sort of, maybe you could think of it as like a beginner's aid to help you find your way through the game. A lot of people like to play without it, but it's got this lore of like protecting from monsters. So in this, I'm just referencing that for fun because I want to pull in lots of random roguelike lore. And so if you look at the key properties here, the cove, Elbereth Cove, verbs, cove, and returned. Why don't we say no? We don't need a return verb. We'll use the default return. And when you're in there, it lets you sleep or leave, right? But here's the cool thing. Maybe I should add rest too. That would just kind of make sense. Right, you can rest, you can sleep, but now what we do is when we go into the game, the main game implementation, when you rest or sleep, usually we roll for an encounter. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say grab the current location entity. If we have a location entity when you rest, and that location is Elbereth Cove, then you're guaranteed to get no encounter. That's the gimmick. That's the whole thing. Is it useful? I don't know. It might be hard to find this without already clearing out a lot of the enemies in the area. But I did put it in the catacombs, which are, they are designed, like I specifically set them up so that you never really fully clear them out. They have a pretty high minimum population. There's always more undead coming out of the catacombs, right? So, is on the first floor of the catacombs, there's this Elbereth Cove. If you find it, you can always rest there perfectly safely. That's the thing, and I think I'll call it quits there. I could go for another 20 minutes or so, but I don't have any ideas for things that I want to do that are both easy and mostly just for fun. So I'm going to wrap this up here and submit this to the challenge. We'll see. I'm very curious to see what the RogueLike community thinks of it and if they like disqualify it from the challenge. The rules are pretty clear about what counts and what doesn't, but my thing is pretty much smack dab in the center of the gray zone that their rules describe. Even though most things, it'd be pretty easy, I just happen to have found the exact right thing to build, which is like, does it have procedural generation? Yes. in the sense that I have a bunch of spawn tables that I use to construct a thing and some patterns inside of it. Does it use roguelike genre elements that are familiar? Absolutely. But basically nothing about it is obviously a roguelike in any of its or like roguelite, or any of the existing iterations. I haven't seen anything quite like what I'm trying to do. So it might not be recognizable. It might seem like a cheap trick to try to make something count as a roguelike, but I hope that they check it out and are like, no, this, I see what you're going for. This totally fits. We'll see what the reaction is, though. I'll get to learn about that either way. And starting tomorrow, I'll no longer be on the 7-day jam, so I'll be going back and forth between this project and other stuff, but I'll keep this going. I have built a big mess in the 7-day rush, and I want to go back and sort of audit all of this, understand what it is that I have built, how all the different sort of layers of structure that are built on top of each other here work, and which ones I want to really invest in and which ones I want to get off of and reconstruct through more robust means. So that'll be stuff I start working on. I might take a break tomorrow since I've been, going real hard this last 7 days. But I might take a break tomorrow. But by the end of the week, I'll get back on streaming and picking up these different projects. So thanks to everyone who's come to hang out at any point along the way on these streams and chat with me about stuff while I was working. It's been great to have you around, and I'll see you again in the future.